This week, it's crazy cold outside, so we're talking about one of the scariest and most bone-chilling sci-fi horror movies of all time, The Thing, here on The Folding List. What's up, everybody, and welcome to The Folding List, where we pay attention to the movie so you don't have to, but if you haven't seen this movie, throw them on. You should definitely throw it on, watch it at least one time through, and then throw it on again when you're folding laundry, when you're washing dishes, because these movies need to be watched multiple times over because they're always good movies and they're always a good time watching them. And every time I got my homeboy joining me from now on, I hope so. What's going on, Cam? Oh man, you didn't actually. See, I saw you doing the flashlight under the face before, and I was like, ha ha ha, that's silly. Like, oh, Cam's doing a silly thing with a flashlight under his face. And then when I brought him into the stream, he was pulling his eyelids down, and I was like, oh, that's that's a little closer to the thing.
I gotta get everybody. I gotta get everybody ready for what we're gonna talk about, and it's body horror. Man, oof.
Yeah,
what a wild ride this movie was.
Yeah, man, this is an absolute classic. It's always talked about whenever people talk about special effects, whenever they're talking about any kind of horror, sci-fi, it always comes up because this is an absolute classic. And because this is such a classic, I thought it would be good to bring Cory in from Sanduskys Talk Shhh. What's going on, man? How's it going?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here. And you got my name right? Man, I'm happy as can be.
Wait, have we been mispronouncing your name? Like,
what no, not all of us.
Just this guy. And now I'm in my head about it because I always fuck up the name of the show.
He's probably got a post-it above his computer that has it.
No, I see it's in your title here, and that's helped me more than anything. I can read it.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Because for some reason, I always want to say either Sanduskys Talking Shit or Talking Shit with Sanduskys.
We do that all is wrong. But we do it all, so it's all right.
Yeah, exactly. It's always a good conversation. Like, so have either of y'all seen this movie before? You know, we were assigned this movie.
I had not.
I have not.
However, it's a regret now because it's a really good movie. It was probably underrated. Yeah. Or I would have seen it by now. It would have probably been one of the scariest movies as a kid. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah. Oh, as a kid, man, that would fuck my life all the way up. But you know what? It had my first introduction to the greatest of all time, Keith David. I did not know Keith David was in this movie.
Straight up, man. A kid too. He looked like he was probably 20 something, maybe like 25, maybe 30. That's crazy.
And you know what's crazy is that he just has the same voice. It's like, get over here, man. What are you doing? Get over there on that chair.
It's just less cigarettes. You can hear the cigarettes now. That's basically all it is. Oof. I didn't pull it out for air. When he said that in Requiem for a Dream, that's just so fucked up. I didn't pull it out for air.
A really good Keith David impression. That's actually funny.
Yeah, I like Keith David. He's dope, man.
Oh man.
But yeah, so did you watch a lot of horror when you were younger, Cory, or were you one of those people that just kind of avoided it?
No, I didn't avoid it. I watched probably a lot more paranormal stuff. Like, to me, The Exorcist, probably the scariest movie of all time. But
I'd have to agree with you. That movie is probably the best, if not the scariest horror movie of all time.
You know, I watched Children of the Corn, freaked me out growing up. But, you know, my favorite movies as I progressed into like horror films has always been like the Rob Zombie type stuff. The Hills Have Eyes, Devil's Rejects, Wrong Turn, that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff could actually happen in real life, you know, like out in country somewhere.
Could.
Yeah.
Backwoods.
Like
They're like, yeah, underground generational incest type people.
Not quite right.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that, but this movie had the just the creepy moments in it that I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Oof.
That's just I had to stop it and say who I watched it with a couple people and said that would have really creeped me. I mean, it creeps me out now, but legit scary movie that I probably underrated for sure.
Are you talking about the severed head that grows spider legs and crawls away, or are you talking about the pile of mutated dogs? Which one is
before it turns into a spider head? That tongue comes out of the face and finds the chair and like slowly drags the head.
Oh man,
that was creepy to me.
Yeah,
that was one of the.
That was fantastic. Like a fantastic use of practical effects too, because I don't know how they did it. Was it robotics? Do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, probably not robotics. More like probably puppetry, and then a lot of the time they do stuff in reverse. So like when you see the tongue go out and grab the table or chair or whatever it was, it was already wrapped around the chair, and then they pull it back, and then they just play it in reverse, so it just like shoots out and goes around, like, you know, like a lot of stuff like that. That's how they did it. You know, it's just clever, and that's why this movie it stands the test of time. It's because the whole movie is clever. They took like I think I said before, they took a very simple storyline, a simple plot, and fleshed it out into, you know, like a real movie that's just like great from beginning to end, like top tier movie. Love this thing.
And you know what? That's actually my favorite type of movie, where it's simple characters, complex story, and that's really it.
Yep.
You know, it's like I don't really like complex characters, simple story. Actually, I got that wrong. That's in reverse.
Don't confuse me.
Don't confuse me. You like complex characters with a simple story.
Yes, I got that wrong. That's my
final answer.
Right, yes. Final answer.
Let me tell you.
I'm sorry.
I
was diagnosed dyslexic as a child.
I think you were in the room, Travis, when I saw the intro to this movie. So the first like 5 minutes of the movie, they had helicopters, people hanging out of the helicopter, shooting at wolves running through the terrain, whiskey, guns. It was just, they caught my attention. It's a man movie. I was like, I'm into this, because the movie does have a slow start, but I was invested from the beginning. Something about the older movies, when you see the cold from their breath and all the snow, and you know they're legitimately out there.
Yeah,
this is not CGI. Makes the movie better.
Yeah, yep, they are cold, like the Revenant. Like they're they're just out there and they're cold. The Revenant's a pretty good example of that same thing. Like Leo was out there in the cold, just shooting that movie for, I forgot how long it was. I'll never forget Mai's review of that movie. It was, when is this going to be over? So that's when I was like, okay, this probably wasn't the movie for Mai.
Probably not. But I appreciate that so much when it's when they put in the work and make it that legitimate.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And like, this is one that she could definitely, she appreciated this one, because this is like everybody can, man. This isn't like, it's scary, but it's not so scary that you can't watch it, in my opinion. I think because it's so weird and like far out there that you're not like, well, I don't think I can imagine that coming down my hallway, is what I'm saying. Like that's not something that would like creep me out late at night after watching this movie. But during it, it's like, what am I seeing? I don't think this is supposed to be seen, any of this.
For a younger kid, some of the concepts in this, like the very thought that any of your colleagues that are around you, could be you, Travis, or Cam, whatever, everybody you're surrounding yourself with could potentially be the threat. adds a certain element of freakiness to it.
But you know what?
And there's a couple.
I think
go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's that element right there that actually freaked me out the most because, of course, once you have the big reveal, you're like, oh, I already know what the monster is looking like right now. But it's like your trusted, your most closest trusted ally. It could be the monster, like he could be playing you. And I don't know if you all did any more extensive research on it, but there's a distinctive thing that you can tell if this person is the monster. And it's if you see the person's breath or if you see the light in their eyes, or if you don't see the light in their eyes. If you don't see the light in their eyes or their breath, then that's the monster.
Like that was planned into the movie's like direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
I just thought it was the fire thing only or the heat thing only.
It's so interesting. And so
I need to rewind it and pay attention. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. And that's why, like, when they were on a shooting hiatus, the director, he actually had time to like make sure that this story was like airtight, and that's one thing that I can really appreciate about this film, because this film it was released in what, 1983,
82. Oh, so it is straight up
82,
40 years old. Wow, that's crazy.
40. Wow. Yeah, if they were doing that back in 82, I was like,
I give it up.
I would have really
this movie being an 82 movie.
Wow,
stellar.
Every time I see that date, I always go, "Oh yeah, it's old as shit." Like you just forget. Like this is not like It looks like a new, especially now because you can watch it in 4K, which is dope. But
it's beautiful.
Like,
oh man, it's so beautiful,
man. It looks so good, man. And it's like, especially with the, like, it almost feels like if it looked okay in 82, like with 4K, you might start seeing some things. Nope. Still looks great. It looks probably even better than it did back then because you can see all of the work that these people put into it. And actually, the guy who did the work, I don't know why I thought it was Rick Baker. It definitely wasn't. It's Robin Botten. It's a special effects guy. He's 63 years old. I don't know anything about this dude, but I guess he did this and The Fog and like a few other things, but nothing super crazy other than this like one legendary thing.
Has anybody seen the old one by any chance? Because I don't know if I can compare it. No?
Never seen the old one.
I would say it's time for them to redo this one currently. I liked it that much.
I was thinking about that too. I was wondering if there was something like in development hell right now. Because, tons of movies right now are in development hell. So I'm wondering if this is possibly one of them.
Yeah, because a lot of movies right now, like they, pandemic pushed them back. And then once you get pushed back by 2 years, it's like, well, are these people that we've signed up into this movie like even worth keeping in anymore? Because I guarantee you they signed Chris Pratt to that Mario movie years and years ago. And now people are like, I'm not really a fan of Chris Pratt. And they're like, fuck. Like, oops.
It was Chris Pratt Mario?
Yeah.
Has to see it through, my boy.
Yep, exactly.
The last Mario preview, I think I remember, was about King Koopa. It was all animated. No?
Yeah. He's just doing the voice, but he's not doing a Mario voice. He's just doing a Chris Pratt voice.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
with
people
a few who's in there. It's like, no, you're not gonna. No.
I feel you.
It's me, Mario.
We're gonna watch this preview again after this.
He's like, no, you're not. Get him the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Get the real Mario in here right now.
Not my Mario. And I was actually looking into it. This Rob Bottin dude, he's only done a few other movies like Twilight Zone, The Witches of Eastwick, Inner Space, RoboCop, Total Recall, RoboCop 2, Basic Instinct, Seven, just some small movies, Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah, small ones.
I stand corrected. He's done a bunch of stuff, like a lot of stuff. Wow. Mimic. Wow. Which is have you seen Mimic?
Yes, that's the little alien thing that can kind of look like a person.
Yes, that is a very, very weird movie.
It's a weird one.
You haven't heard of it, Cam?
I've never heard of it, no.
Okay, so since we're talking about stuff, this is the same guy actually. Now, which is crazy. This is another somewhat body horror type of movie, to where it's a movie about these scientists in New York that are working on bringing some kind of bug from South America to New York to kill the cockroaches in the subways. But this bug does that by mimicking the other bugs to lure them in, and then it kills them. But little do they know, these bugs start to mimic people by killing homeless people and stuff in the subways, and then it gets all it's real crazy. It folds
its wings up and shit. It looks like a man standing up. It's super creepy, but it's a bug.
Yeah,
it's wild.
It's so creepy.
That's a real creepy movie.
And I don't even do cockroaches either. So that's if I see one, I will burn part of my house down.
That's a shame.
Hey, Cory remembers this. I was like,
shame.
No, Cory remembers
this. Just grab a sheet, my man.
It's
not that serious.
Yeah, I had to take my trash out, and I was like, all right, let me get my broom, because there's crawlies out there. And then Trav was like, man, come on, man, I'll just go ahead. So he was opening this shit. I was like, no, Cory, don't do it. There might be a cockroach in there. He's like,
he did not want to open his trash can to throw his trash bag in the trash can.
Because I use a broomstick. I just
uses a broomstick. Open the trash.
Wow.
Can. Open the trash.
City boy.
My man.
City boys. Yep, city boys.
Yeah, he was city boy. Oh man, that's crazy.
He's got the satin sheets on his bed. He's living life.
The silk pillowcases.
Yeah, you got.
Can't mess up these. Can't mess up these braids, my brother.
I was like, Cory, you want to touch him? He's like, oh yeah, this is satin.
I haven't had a guy ask me to come in his room and touch his satin sheets in a long time. So I was a little hesitant.
Maybe back in the early 2000s.
Things were wild and crazy back then.
Oh man.
Y2K, baby. We didn't know if we was gonna make it.
The only thing I remember about Y2K was eating a bunch of boiled shrimp at my parents' house. That's the only thing I remember.
No, this is awesome. Historic events. Everybody has their own. What do you think of, Cam? Y2K. Something's got to come to mind. It was a big date.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I remember sitting in the living room, and my mom was like, well, all the computers are going to shut down and everybody's going to die. And I was like, afraid at the time.
It's dramatic.
So, yes, she's a very dramatic
I mean,
so I was just sitting there. Yeah, I was just sitting there. It was they were doing the countdown, and I was excited. I was like, oh man, is the world just going to black out? Is there going to be like a kaiju coming up from the Pacific Ocean? And do we have like a secret military full of Gundams that are just come and just going to be like Godzilla versus Mecha King Kong and some shit? And no, nothing happened. Like none of the lights went out. I was just seeing a whole bunch of drunk ass people on my TV saying Happy New Year, it's Y2K, it's the year 2000. I was like,
there's a lot of drunk people driving home that day because they didn't think they were going to live. I know that I was.
Oh man,
I drank champagne that night. I don't know how old we were. I'll back into the math, but we're all about the same age.
Yeah.
First time is like celebrate. End of times. Yeah, everybody's freaking out. Computers are all going to shut down. I'm with you. But needless can I say,
oh man,
they kind of planned for that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too efficient.
I think the mathematicians that were able to program your computer to do all of these crazy things might have thought about the year turning
99 to
2000.
Yeah, they got that.
I think that was just a symptom of people not understanding technology, like Kurt Russell in this movie when he lost the game and poured his drink into his computer, destroying it.
I was thinking it had to be so expensive back then. I was like, why? No one has that. You're out in the middle of the architect, and you're going to ruin that shit and throw a drink in it?
Yeah.
I was so pissed.
Like, you can't get shipped another one. Like, it doesn't work like that.
I don't know exactly where they were, but it had to be like the Arctic.
It was Antarctica. It's Antarctica. Like,
you're
they were like,
really?
Yeah.
I don't even know how he got that one.
That's wild. So the storm, it was totally legit at the very end, where they were like walking through and like the snow and all the other shit just started coming. Like, that was totally real. That's crazy.
Yeah,
like, I love that.
That made me buy into it. That made me buy into the movie immediately, just because it looks so authentic. It got me excited. I love seeing that shit.
The lighting and the flares, like the lighting, I think that the lighting was absolutely pitch perfect in the entire movie. Like, not once was I sitting there like, oh, amateurs, they don't know what they're doing. But no, they knew how to draw my eye everywhere where it needed to be. It was fantastic.
Yep.
Wow, did you hear that? We were both hilarious yet insightful. Anyways, thanks for listening to each episode of The Folding List. We appreciate the support, and we're glad you're not just hate listening. Actually, we don't care. Just keep coming back and listening. And while you're at it, make sure to check out the other podcasts in the Chino umbrella. We've got The Nightly Binge, The Movie Dogs, and Sanduskys Talk Shhh. All great podcasts with interesting people and topics. Back to the show.
And actually, before we get too deep into this, Cam, do you think you could hit the people with the plot of this movie?
Oh, yeah. You know, Kurt Russell and homies, they're up in the Arctic, and they are haunted by an extraterrestrial force that can mimic a human or an animal. And the only way that you can know if this person is truly themselves or not is you can't. You have to accuse them, and then you have to sit there and you have to watch them argue with you. So the gist of it is, know who your real friends are, because they're probably not your real friends.
Not at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's plenty of commentary to add to that.
Yeah. Like, this movie is this movie can be, I don't know, like it feels like you could cruise right past it, especially even looking like it's a famous poster, like super famous poster of just like a human standing in like all of their winter gear except with a hood on, but instead of seeing their face in the hood, it's just like a bright light coming out of it. And as a kid, I was always like, that looks scary. I don't know what that movie's about, but it looks scary and I don't want to watch it. And I never watched this movie. It took me a long time. I think I was probably 23, 22 the first time I saw this movie, and just blown away because I think just like you said, Cory, the way it starts off where you're just like, you're seeing this helicopter chase this dog through the Arctic. It's running through the snow and they're just like, bah, bah, with this rifle trying to kill it. And you're like, why are these people trying to kill a dog? This is crazy. And then of course, like you have all of our protagonists. They're like, oh, I'll just like obviously do the right thing and take the dog in. Bad move. Bad move. Like, you killed everybody because of your love for dogs. Like, and I think that's pretty scary for a lot of people. They would make that same move.
Get this. So if anyone speaks, I don't know what they were speaking, Polish or something like that in the beginning of the movie.
I can't remember. Yeah.
I thought
Norwegian.
I don't know much.
Yeah. If you were able to understand them, that'll actually spoil the entire plot of the movie, because what the guy yells is, "That's not a dog. That thing is not human," or "That thing is not a dog. Shoot it. What are you doing, you idiot?"
If you put subtitles on, does it say that?
I don't know if
you
it
have to
says
speak the language. That might be like one of those hidden gems. If you put subtitles on and it tells me that's one thing. If I have to,
because when you think about it, it's the perfect plan because no one really expects a dog, because dogs, what do? They're allowed pretty much everywhere. What is a dog?
Man's best friend.
Man's best friend. Yeah.
Yep.
So dogs can freely roam throughout the entire camp, the entire compound, just freely licking,
snuggling up on people,
spread their DNA. Exactly. Not really knowing that, you just got, like all your men are dead just because you love dogs. So the moral of the story is don't get a dog.
Keep the dog outside.
I love my dog so much.
Yeah.
What's okay? I want to talk about it at least at some point. What's the first point in the movie that like creeped you out? Because mine, I'll go first. The first human to get infected. Hopefully, I'm not jumping the timeline too much.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
And I'm not great with names, so bear with me. But he's hunched over the snow. Everybody's running outside to check on him. Everybody knows that he's freaking out, right? And he's hunched over, and it's kind of like a Resident Evil zombie type moment because it's at nighttime. There's a fire in the background, and he just looks over. He opens his mouth, and this screech, this sound comes out of his mouth that was not human. It was like that. Noise. That's creepy. That's the first time I got chills in this movie. I was like, oh shit. This alien is no good.
He has no chill.
There was more scary moments, but at that point in the movie, I was like, "Oh shit, this is freaky. This is a good scary movie. This isn't like it was not Killer Clowns from Outer Space or one of those type movies."
It was legit crossover.
I mean, every movie's good in its own right, but this is a legit scary movie, right? I think that's what they were intending, and it was.
Yeah. Wow.
I
think for me, it was the blood testing scene, because like I'm quite impartial to jump scares. Like I don't like them, but I can always tell when they're coming. The audio fades out, everything gets quiet, camera slow pans in. But this one actually subverted my expectations because he was just going down the line, just checking the blood, and all of a sudden, there's the thing. Blood shoots up. I was like, "Ooh, I didn't expect that." And homeboy just turned, and I was
like, so good.
Go ahead.
That scene is just like super famous, obviously, just because it's so chaotic, it's so crazy. There's so much going on, and on this watch, I just happened to notice like when he's holding the petri dish with the blood in it. You can tell that the hand is fake so that it can have something like shoot up out of the glass. So it's not in his hand. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like clever. The whole movie's just clever, man. Like all of that. And then, like you were saying that
too.
Yeah.
Like, if someone just like turns next to you and you're like, you're like, oh,
man.
What would you like? All right, so Cory, how would you handle that situation if you were tied up and then someone right next to you started like just completely like going batshit crazy?
First of all, I'm gonna fucking cut my hand open and put it over a flame before anybody ties me up. The moment you're tied up, you're fucked. So just be like, I cooperate, motherfuckers. Here, I'll cut myself open.
Yeah, like I'm not an alien.
Like, don't tie me up. There's some fucking aliens awry. Don't tie me up. So I guess to answer your question, before I get tied up, I'm cooperative as shit. I might not be one. No.
So there's aliens afoot.
One motherfucker got eaten, kinda. You tell me what happened. Man. I'm confused by this scene because he was like up to the belly button, but he didn't get eaten, but he did.
It was like so basically, audience, we're kind of spoiling some stuff, but it's a 40-year-old movie. If we're spoiling it, 40. That's on you. But so basically, McCready tests all the blood, and then he gets to one of the guy's blood, and the blood freaks out, and then the guy instead of them being like, all right, well, he's the killer. As soon as the blood freaks out, the guy just starts like shaking and then starts turning into like, you know, mutating into this monster right next to the other guys he's tied up with. Like Cory said, please don't tie me up. One of them could be a monster. And then and then the guy's freaking out, and he's like, the monster's so strong that he kicks a hole in the floor, starts standing up, his head splits in half like down the middle, and one of the other guys tries to run up with a flamethrower. I don't know why he got so close. And then he like chomped his head like an alligator and was just shaking him around the room. Yeah,
if I could jump in here, this reminded me of a Demogorgon. If you've watched Stranger Things, a Demogorgon, how his face opens up.
Yeah,
like his whole face opened up, and he like ate him like a Demogorgon. Just throwing that in there.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, he was sure thrashing him around for a minute though. He was playing with his food.
But then he didn't like nothing substantial came off the person, so he was just bloody.
Yeah, he was just like
full body.
And you know what's really funny though is what if that guy wasn't infected and he was just like sitting there like, oh, I survived. Then all of a sudden he burned. Just like
so killed like 3 people that was already not turned.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I don't know how good McCready is at stitching up wounds, though. I think you'd probably just go ahead and take him out, man, no matter if he's infected or not. I don't think they had anybody there to help him. He would have just been, kill me. I think McCready did what he needed to do each time, every time. Like I do, obviously. You feel bad because you would be like, oh, if I was in a situation with my friends, we'd calmly all sit down and everybody like talk it all through. I think we can all say definitively now that if someone has some kind of weird virus, they are most likely not going to fucking tell you. So just like McCready was just like, I'm going to get the dynamite and I'm going to get a gun and we're going to figure this shit out. Because,
Can I say that scene where Kurt Russell had the dynamite in his hand and a flare in the other hand? I was like, he's playing a little loosey-goosey. Y'all would have to watch this scene again, I guess. But the whole time he's like, there's a fuse hanging out, and he's got a flare like 1 inch from it. And he's like switching hands.
That's how on edge he is, man.
I was like, what the fuck?
He even got attacked.
Yeah, the joke.
To blow the whole compound.
Yeah, on both sides he got attacked, and he was like, yo, I still got this. I'll blow us all up. And they were like, oh, okay. Cool. Sorry about
that. Yeah, everybody calm down. Calm the fuck down.
It was intense there. Yeah, everybody's a little tense.
Ooh, man.
I say if it was us, right? We hang out, we're friends. Let's just fucking cut our hands over the fire. Let's do it together. We'll find out. Let's just do it. All in.
Yeah. I don't even know if we need to cut our hands. We could just like do a needle.
Oh yeah.
I'll be got blood pressure. I'll be like, I ain't cutting.
Or blood sugar. We got that blood sugar needle thing.
Yeah, man. Just squeeze a little bit out. We don't have to.
No, I can't do that. I cannot cut myself. It's gonna be bad.
No,
it's gonna be
no way.
If I could find a hangnail, that would be perfect.
Man.
Get a little drop. I could do that. Man.
Maybe I'll just like pick my nose a little too aggressively.
Yeah, I don't care what it takes, just any little bit.
I'm cutting my hand.
I'm trying to find a few aliens.
Didn't they have syringes though? Because they were like giving each other's like shots. Like, couldn't they just like just extract?
I would do a shot.
Like, you didn't have to just like
anything. And Keith Day was like, "Nah, man, you ain't touching me." Like, bro, just cooperate.
Now you tied up. How's that feel?
Yeah.
Now you tied up.
I love that. Keith David was such a great presence in this movie. Like, I love his I loved it. Loved it. Oh, I also like the fact. So, Travis, did the black guy die last or first in this movie?
See, man, now I gotta like go back and pay attention to the breath and all that kind of stuff, man. Like, whoa, because See, now that I'm thinking about it, I honestly feel like he wasn't an alien at the end. But how do y'all feel about it?
So I'll tell my
trust
side, Cory. Okay, Cory. So you don't trust anybody, Travis. You think that he wasn't. Okay, so this might have been a continuity error, but if you see the scene where he was looking outside with the flamethrower, you saw that he was wearing a green jacket, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know that when the thing gets you, it burns your clothes. But so when he showed up at the very end, he was wearing a white or a cream jacket. You notice that?
Nope.
No, I did not.
Not only that. Yeah, not only that, but if you look at the walls, you'll see that the jackets have switched form, like they're switched in their place where he was sitting. So you have to pay attention to that detail, that small detail.
You say that's on purpose.
Yeah, most stuff in movies are on purpose.
No, so I have a theory.
It might have been a continuity error. It might have been on purpose.
The issue is that every drop of blood, the reason why the fire thing worked is that our DNA is just flesh and blood. Theirs is every drop that they have are individual organisms. One could branch out, infect somebody, they're infected. Everything, one drop of blood. That everybody's been infected at that point, in my mind. The only way to save Earth is everybody
is for everybody to die.
Yeah, even if you feel like you're not infected, you got to blow that thing down. For humankind, everybody's got to die. Everybody's got to die.
Yep.
Period.
That's your only option, and that's why everybody at the last base was dead except for the pilots. And then the guy oopsie doodle and threw the grenade behind himself.
That was not an oopsie doodle. I was so confused on that scene. That's not an oopsie doodle. How did that happen? I really didn't understand that at all. Still,
that's funny.
They weren't even grenades. They looked like smoke grenades. They're in a canisters. I was confused about the whole thing.
Yeah, but they did explode though. So
they exploded like grenades.
Yeah. I don't know what they really were, but they blew up that helicopter and then it respawned at the American camp, like you said,
with different logos.
Yeah,
it was a Russian helicopter, I think, but then it was American as fuck. Same helicopter, with different logos.
That's great, man. Like I don't know. I think it was also, like when that one dude fell back and they thought he had a heart attack and they were like, oh, we gotta help him out. And he was trying to give him CPR, pushing on the guy's chest over and over and over. And he's like, give me the defibrillator. He puts it on his chest and his chest opens up like a mouth. His arms go into it. And then the mouth closes and snaps his arms off immediately.
I said out loud, plot twist. I did not see that coming when I was watching the movie. I was like, okay.
Wow.
That freaked me out too. That was a moment where I was like, oh, my God.
Every movie's got those. Did not see that coming. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. This was such a good movie. Like, I was very pleasantly surprised, honestly.
Yeah.
Man. Like it's, like I said, there's not a lot of horror movies that I can either watch a bunch of times or I suggest to people over and over and over. But this movie is definitely one that I suggest to people all the time because it's what I've always enjoyed about horror movies. Like you said, Cam, I'm not a fan of jump scares. I don't like stuff like that. Stuff like, Paranormal Activity and, The Strangers and like all of those kind of just like slasher jump out and get you movies. But I like stuff that's more of a slow burn, but still kind of, it kind of gets you going. It's not like you're just like tight and tense the entire time. Like this movie, I felt like it had a good sense of like keeping you very tense, having a crazy moment, and then letting that moment breathe for just a second because everything's so quiet and still. Because they shot this movie in what is it? they shot this movie in Alaska, which is like a very, I don't know, that just doing anything up there is, it's scary because it's so cold. And then like just so dark, and there's bears and, I just can't.
I wouldn't have liked the movie if they didn't do it that way. It would have taken away from the movie production value. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. They needed to go somewhere in order for it to not feel like a like just a normal slasher, weird sci-fi movie.
I don't know if we even said it. Sorry.
Huh?
I don't even know if we said it, that the whole part of the premise is that they're out in the middle of nowhere and there's no rescue for like 6 months, and they just got to stick it out for the winter. 6 months. I know we're talking about, I think it was several months. I don't know if you recall exactly. I know we're talking about Alaska, but the premise of this is we don't have time to bunker down and wait for help. We've got to deal with this right now.
Right? Yeah. And I think that's what makes the ending so impactful too. Because at first I didn't even know that it ended. And then when I kind of rewatched it and just saw, what was actually happening, I was like, you know what? This ending is actually perfect. Like it's pitch perfect. Like I couldn't have thought of a better ending, because you didn't have to have, Kurt Russell shirtless, biceps and shit with a machine gun and a flamethrower in one hand. And he's like, come get me, motherfucker. And then
that's Arnold.
And then it just ends, Yeah. Like we didn't need that, it just ended. And you were like, okay, so these guys are just going to have to tough it out and just, die together. And I was like,
basically,
perfect. Absolutely perfect. Loved it.
Yep.
Something about a movie that the main characters die sounds horrible, but I love it because it's more reality. If you have a type of situation like this, a lot of times your main character is going to die, which is why I like the Game of Thrones type, movies.
Yeah.
Walking
Nobody's
Dead,
safe.
No one's safe. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And an audience, I don't know if you heard Cam laughing in the background a second ago. It's because he told me to watch Hereditary. He told me in the chat, watch Hereditary. That'll have your butt puckering the entire 2 hours. I'll say this. I have 2 friends that are very much into horror. They watch everything. They love horror. They watch it to relax. Both of them were like, oh, fuck Hereditary. That movie's scary. And I was like, oh, man, I don't want to watch this movie.
Yo, not going to lie. Yeah. That movie fucked me up. Like, I'm not. A lot of people will be like, a lot of people are going to be like, that movie, nothing happened. It's so boring and everything. But no, that movie, I couldn't sleep for about 6 months. And I had.
I'm not watching this movie.
Get out of here.
Come on,
Cory.
I've heard that from so many people.
It's just a movie. It's fake.
I've heard it from so many people, man.
Cory, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. It's on streaming services right now.
Fiction.
I heard people say, multiple people I've heard say, it's okay. It's not that scary. And then I've heard other people who love horror. They love movies in general. They're, they've seen a lot of stuff. They're like, oh no, that movie stuck with me for a very long time. It did. It got to me. Yeah, 100%.
I have not seen a movie in my life that has stuck with me longer than maybe 2 days.
Oh man. Ooh, The Grudge got me for months, dog. Months.
Like you're falling asleep every night. You're like, oh, this bitch about to crawl out my TV.
There you go. For
months.
No.
Man.
You're like, a visitor.
It's fake. Someone wrote that in their living room.
I know. The thing that broke me, it was that movie that broke me straight up. After that movie, no movie has scared me ever again.
For some
I don't know about Hereditary, but
haunted houses, all the scary stuff. I've been into places where you go in with an airsoft gun and there's zombies in a hotel, an abandoned hotel.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
You have to go in,
I love
and you have to shoot them in the face to kill them. If you shoot them in the body, they don't go down.
Hit me up next time for that, please.
Yeah, I want to go too. I will drive up there for that, please.
It was fun. It's costly, but it's worth it. Come on.
Yeah.
Real actors.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll save it up. I'll put it in my vacation fund.
I love that stuff.
Man.
They're actors at the end of the day, right? Same thing with
like
actors.
Oh, of course. Like I always tell people when you're feeling kind of scared in a movie and you're starting to get kind of tight, just remember there's a production assistant just kind of like standing behind the dresser, like just out of the shot. Like, please don't see me. Please don't see me. Please don't see me. If they see me, I'll get fired. Please don't see me. Please don't see me. Like that's
our 37th take.
Yeah. And like the monsters in between take, like sipping from a soda with a straw because their lips can't touch the can, so they have to use a straw. Like that's what it's like on set. Yeah,
so funny. So Travis, I think that you would. I think that movie probably would get to you, but I think ultimately that you would enjoy it just because of how it's crafted. The lighting in that is amazing.
Yeah,
special effects, practical effects, just the psychology behind everything. It's a very well made movie. I highly recommend that you watch it at least one time.
I know. And I keep saying that. And just like with this one, I appreciate it because of all the practical effects, that the lighting, the acting, everything. And I'm sure all of that is great in Hereditary, but I don't get a lot of sleep right now. So I've cherished my sleep, dog.
Yeah, you ain't gonna get no sleep.
I cherish my sleep. I can't just be laying in my bed like, baby's asleep, but I am not. I am wide awake, thinking about Hereditary.
You got a big room too. Yeah, you got a big room. So if you look over,
hey, don't say that, man. Maybe I don't need to watch this movie. Oh man,
Cory,
because I have
Cory, please watch it, please.
See,
it won't scare me, but okay. I'm down.
Like, was that I recently watched Barbarian, and that's another horror movie that I don't think it's going to be one of those movies where everybody's talking about it for decades, but I had a great time watching that movie. If you want to like watch a fun horror movie, Barbarian is it. That is like, if you don't, audience, Cory, Cam, if y'all don't know what this movie is and you feel like watching, you feel like kind of trusting my recommendation, do not look it up. Don't look up the trailer. Don't look up anything. Just watch it.
I was just about to.
Do not do it. Don't look up anything.
But
it'll ruin it if you do that.
I'm kind of thinking like Hercules right now. Like
coming into
Barbarian.
Oh no.
I'm just saying
it's nothing like that.
Now. I'm just saying
nothing like that. It's a horror movie. You can watch it on HBO Max. It has nothing to do with barbarians, but honestly, I'll give you this. It's a movie about two people staying in an Airbnb and they find out something is not quite right.
That is far from what I would have expected it to be. So
I'm not going to give you any more than that. It's a fun horror movie. Do not take it too serious.
Okay.
But it's a good movie. It's super well done. The directing's great. The acting is great.
Like Cabin in the Woods. Like type.
I'd say
like kind of fun, but like still scary.
If the thing is a 10 in terms of like taking it serious, and Cabin in the Woods is like a 2 or a 3 in terms of lighthearted horror, Barbarian is almost right in the fucking middle.
Okay.
It's so good, man. The director of that found that balance in between like traditional old school The Thing horror and like new school. I'm just gonna have a little fun with this, like Cabin in the Woods, right in the middle. Okay. It's a fun movie. Yeah.
Sounds fun.
I'll check it out.
But yeah, guys, once again, thank you for joining me. It's always awesome talking to both of y'all. Like on mic, off the mic. It's always good catching up with y'all, seeing how y'all are doing, man. And Cam, I'm glad you're back, bro. I'm glad you're back on the pod. It's been weird without you. It's been okay, but it's been weird. I'm glad you're back.
You've been having a great time. Like, oh, Cam, I'm so glad that we don't have that guy anymore.
He's bringing shit down with all that Sonic talk.
He always
talking about Sonic.
what did Michael Bay ever do to him?
He did a lot to me, man. He made a lot of bad movies, wasted a lot of my fucking time. That's what Michael Bay did. He wasted a lot of my time.
I agree.
Fuck Michael Bay. Okay. We had to address the name before we left today.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, audience, if you're listening to the podcast, I know some of y'all just listen to this. Cam's name on the screen right now is Fuck Michael Bay. And if you're watching us on YouTube, I can assume you have read that and you were either very confused or you said, I agree with Cam.
Thank you. And if you did, then thank you. I love you. Welcome.
Yep.
You are now part of my family.
Straight up. Yeah. Michael Bay did that last one supposedly is okay, but I'm still kind of done with Homeboy. I think he can wrap it up.
You know what? Michael Bay can bake me the best Pillsbury cookies in the world, and I still wouldn't eat them shits because I was like, no.
Hey man, but the island was cool. No. I like the island.
I just picture Cam walking past fresh baked cookies in his kitchen and just not eating them. And it seems like a challenge.
Yeah. I was like, oh, did Michael Bay?
He's like about to eat them.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Oh, he made those?
Yeah. Oh, did he?
Okay. Oh, did he?
So you can take these cookies and shove them up his ass. Okay, all up in your ass.
Take those fucking cookies.
And then he could use the footage from Pearl Harbor and the footage from Transformers and somehow make that into something else with those cookies. I'm sure he could figure it out. He's done it before.
Yeah, shaky cams and explosions. Yeah.
And circled dolly shots around the people over and over and over.
Yeah.
Whatever. On that sour note, talking about Michael Bay's whack ass, let's go ahead and end this one. Cory, thanks for joining us, man. We definitely appreciate it. It's always good having you on, and I still got you for this next series coming up, but I'll talk to you about that off pod whenever we lock it in. But
yeah, man.
But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Once again, thanks for joining us on the Folding List, and we will catch you next time. Peace.